Thank you very much, guys. Welcome back to the analyst desk once more. KT Bullets with another strong performance, another strong win. I want to go back to picks and bans and start by talking about Leopard. Once again, counter-picking that top lane. Renekton was locked in early for Fnatic. What do you think of Leopard and the way that pick ban phase played out?
Yeah, I really think Leopard is rising up to the occasion. I know, right? Great counter pick in Rise again. Every time Soaz is forced to early pick his champion, Leopard says, alright, oh yeah, I know that champion. I play something better. If it is Shyvana, he picks Renekton into it, or he counter with Olaf when Renekton is out. This time, Soaz is like, okay, I'm going to get my hands on the Renekton. What do you offer? And it's Rise. And it's apparently a really popular pick in Korea already. And if we recall, a lot of months back, Rise was played a lot in the top lane. And with recent changes, he's almost back to the state of where he was before when he was such a terror. The reason he's so strong against Renekton is going to keep his range and keep him at bay. The problem, however, is he's gankable. And we saw that a few times Pantheon Renekton jump on top of the Rise, but he scales oh so well.
Yeah, the problem was it wasn't enough. Fnatic had such an early game comp and they didn't get ahead early.
I think especially with when you see the enemy pick Rise and you have the last pick as the jungle and Lee Sin is open. I believe he was open, right?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
You see, you have a Kha'Zix. You want to play aggressive versus the Kha'Zix. You don't want the Kha'Zix to play aggressive on you. And you have the Rise that needs to be ganked. You have a somewhat weak mid laner as well. Versus the LeBlanc in pre-level 6 at least. I don't think Pantheon was the right pick to go for. Because if he had Lee Sin, he could always keep the vision of the insect. Ultimate is like 2 seconds long now. Even though there's the damage reduction. Even though he's still stealth, you can reveal him and it's way easier to kill him.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point Froggen brings up here. Vision. In a lot of these fights later in the game, we didn't see pink ward being dropped immediately when Kha'Zix came in. Kha'Zix would always jump in, draw all the aggro, and then the bullets would come from side to side and just pick people off. It's really beautiful to see how Insect plays it. He's engaging in a sense without any crowd control, just by sheer invisibility, and we saw him escape a couple of times where a pink ward would have been, or correctly placed pink ward, because we had a pink ward once on top lane, but it just didn't see into the brush, for example, would have actually just screwed him over. So we need vision, and I think the Lee Sin pick would have actually been a really good answer to that.
Well, we'll have to see what Fnatic decide going into Game 3. We've got a couple of replays that we want to show you guys based on the Dragon fight. Now, we're going to go very far back in the game, 12 minutes 50. Let's pull that replay up on your screen right now. And this was a Dragon that went well for Fnatic. It was started by KT Bullets. Let's get rid of the items on the replay, and then Froggen, you can talk us through it.
Yeah, so what you see right here is Cyanide is going to drop on the Dragon, and he's going to steal the Dragon. I'm just going to roll the replay. Meanwhile, Yellow Star is zoning Ryu, and what you see is all of KT Bullets is gathered up in the Dragon Pit. Peke as Gragas. He can ultimate and barrel all of them. And KT Bullets basically lost because they all gathered up in the Dragon Pit. Yellow Star alone, with the any pick, could zone Ryu alone. What we saw here was Yellow Star basically just ultimates him, ignites him, uses his combo. Ryu is forced to W out, and he doesn't even deal any damage in the teamfight. He had used 0 abilities.
So that is the replay. We can pull that one off your screens right now. And part of the reason we highlight that is we felt that Fnatic's composition, they got themselves a small lead early on, but they needed to do that again and again. They needed to find more opportunities. We're busy getting the second replay set up for you in just a moment. It comes in at 26:55. This is a Dragon fight that goes very well for the KT Bullets, and something that I want to highlight that KT Bullets did very well, at least in the opening 20-25 minutes of the game, was the blue buff control. They invaded Fnatic often. You see an Insect multiple times sort of camping that brush, waiting for Fnatic to go for blue, grabbing kill after kill, and it really made Fnatic have to play reactively as opposed to proactively.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to highlight in the next replay as well. We can actually already get that on the screen so we can get that ready. The reason we're talking about 2 Dragon fights here is because the Bullets need to draw out Fnatic out of their shell, because they couldn't siege. In the mid game we saw a bit of a stall because the Bullets had no answer. They couldn't really push in against Gragas and Sivir wave clear, but they would always pick people off when Fnatic went out far enough. And why else would Fnatic come out if it wasn't for a Dragon? This time though, they're not grouped and Fnatic is the one engaging the Dragon. And we see on the right side we have Ryu, on the left side we have the commerce support coming in, Lucian's around, and eventually Insect is going to go in for a steal, challenge the Drake fight, and then it starts again. Insect will draw aggro on himself, and the fight starts. And this time they can't get AoE because they're pincering from every side possible. So we see Insect going in and using the ultimate there. LeBlanc's closing the gap. Carling is getting placed from the side. They try to kill him, they knock him away, and again, no pink ward here. Could have been crucial, and then by that time, it's fight's lost for Fnatic. They use everything in trying to kill kill off Insect, but it just didn't work. Good jump by Fnatic, trying to get around to the fight, but Leopard's already dealing so much damage. Score is untouched at this point, and it's really hard for Fnatic to clean up against the mobility that Insect and his teammates are offering into the fight.
Yeah, so that is the replay. We can
Very
get that one down. And, you know, Leopard, like we said, that rise, at this point, he had his Seraph's Embrace already picked up, and they took so much time to focus him down. The scary thing is, we were discussing the itemization, and I remember I was saying, well, that's it. Like, you know, GG, Rise is already scary. And you just go like, no, Rise hasn't even broken the 9,000 power barrier because he just scales so infinitely well.
He wasn't even close to the monster he will eventually become, and then it's a catch-22. Like, are you going to kill that tanking monster? Can you afford to? Because all the other players on the Bullets are just going to kill you if you try. But if you don't, well, he'll just
He's going to kill you.
Anyways, so there was an expiration date on Fnatic's composition, and that's why KDB just didn't mind stalling out the game a little bit in the mid game because they knew they had the late game anyways, and it was Fnatic's move to make.
So pick some bans, 2 games in a row now, going in favor of the KT Bullets. We have particularly highlighted how Leopard has been able to sort of counterpick. One trend that we were discussing during the game that KT Bullets seem to have in every single one of their comps, barring one game against Gambit. They have either a Sivir for all the movement speed, and when they don't have Sivir, they run Karma. Do you think this high mobility, engage, disengage kind of playstyle is their only trick? I mean, it's working for them. But do you think it's the only thing?
I don't think it's the only trick. I think it's the easiest trick. Like, if you have a lot of mobility and if you have a lot of gap closes or whatever, then you have a lot of room for error. Like, if you make a mistake, get caught out or something, you always have, okay, you can use your gap close instead of using your flash. And like, Fnatic, they did the same thing as they did yesterday against Cloud9. They played Sivir against us, picked Sivir early. This time they picked it in the second rotation, and they just didn't use the Sivir ultimate effectively enough. In the replay we saw where Cripper was talking, Fnatic, when they were doing the Dragon, 4 members of Fnatic, except for Cyanide, backed off the Dragon towards the banana bush, towards the mid side. And you see, Cyanide is basically 50-50 smiting the Dragon. What they could have done was reckless. Pop ultimate, run them down, because this time KT Bullets were split.
Well, closing thoughts just before we do go to the air break, Crapper.
Yeah, I do agree with Froggen. If they're split, charge at one side and try and pick them off. I just want to highlight how good Score is, because he played the Sivir matchup into Lucian, and okay, there were different supports, but he didn't lose. He got pushed into his tower, Typhon. This time, he played Lucian into Sivir, and he actually pressured Reckless way harder than the mirror matchup did in the other game. So definitely Score is just so solid, and the reason he's so solid is because Leopard keeps drawing all the jungle aggro to the top lane, and they just know they can lane on their own and push the tower.
Well, we'll have to see if Fnatic can find an answer to what KT Bullets is throwing at them. When we come back from the ad break, it is potentially the last game of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship here, where Fnatic, it's do or die. There's 0-3. We'll try pushing to that game 4. We'll be right back.